Hello, today we're working with a 6-year-old steer tripping horse, performance horse. We're gonna come in here with the flag, and the flag is just an extension of my hand. You know, I really wanna stress that this is not about ever taking anything out of a horse or anything like that there. This flag really represents my hand, or it could represent my leg. But today we're working with this horse to get to his feet. And you notice we give him the option to travel. And he stops traveling there. Take that flag away and give him some relief. I'll give him a kind of rub on the forehead right there. And I really feel like, you know, as you're introducing these kind of things to a horse, that there's a big difference between acceptance and approval. And for me, the acceptance really aspect is kind of tolerating something. So you'll see this horse, he'll move around here, and I'll just kind of roll with him, place the flag up there. And it's interesting to me what happens here during this transition, because I'll step back here and give him some relief. And what I'm doing here essentially is saying, hey, you know, you've held up to some pressure right there, and your feet kind of finally came to a standstill, and so now I'm going to give you some relief. Right there, he's working his mouth, which conveys to me that, you know, we got a little dopamine going in the brain, and he's kind of trying to make sense of what's going on here. But this flag represents my hand. It's just an extension. If he won't accept the flag, he will darn sure not accept my hand on his feet. So it's never used to desensitize. It's an extension of my hand or a leg. So here he travels away. We give him that option. Trying to get to his front end right there. His front end stops, moves his hindquarters. And you know, I really like to start out on the right-hand side of these horses, but it is interesting to me that, you know, here we started out on this horse on the right side and got less of a reaction than we did on the left side. So kind of something to take into consideration. I'm going to give him these moments, again, of relief and pauses there. Let him kind of make sense of things. Come back in here. And what I'm looking for is what is that next response? Does he set himself up, or what does he do? So there he puts a little more thought into where he's placing his feet. So I step back and give him some relief here. And notice I have got 110% of his attention here. And it's interesting to me, as you'll see in this video here, as things play out, how that works out. But right now, I've got 110% of it. So I'm going to pause here for a moment. And that's interesting to me there. He drops his head. Doesn't really feel as panicked about it. Now I'm going to come in here. There he gets a little defensive there. So he went from flight to being defensive. So I'm in a position here where I've got the flag on him here, and he's got a little defensive, but we've just kind of held the flag there. And again, that's not to desensitize this horse. That's where my hand would be at. So if I was to approach this horse to want to pick up one of his feet, that's where my hand would be at. So he accepted that and got a little defensive with it at first. So I stepped back here. And I really feel like, as a performance horse situation, that, you know, we're never out to take anything away from these horses. We really feel like there's a middle ground. And that middle ground is where, you know, safety, you can get around a horse and be safe. And whether it's bridling, saddling, picking up feet, doesn't matter what it is, tying a horse up, all them kind of things. Now you see we're back in here, and he's getting defensive. Moves his feet a little bit for sure. right there, decides that's a pretty good place to be at, and I give him relief. And really, it's interesting to me that, really it is about balancing pressure and relief. And also too, you could say, taking a horse from comfort to discomfort and letting him find his way back to comfort again. So right there, he's working his mouth. And so you see, we had him in a slightly uncomfortable position right there, and just letting him find his way back there. And I really think that's super important, because you take a performance horse and you get him in a situation out there in the arena, and he gets a little uncomfortable. Boy, if that horse has learned to mentally find his way back to finding comfort, that could be the difference between the best run you've ever made or maybe it not going so well. So he's got his hind leg cocked there, but still looking at me a little less threatened, dropping his head there, kind of swatting at flies, that kind of stuff. And I take all that into consideration from where we're at. And you'll notice I'll go from right to left, left to right, that kind of stuff. And so again, just to stress this point, this is not to desensitize, ever to desensitize. This is just an extension of my hand. I'm going to place this flag out there where my hand would start for them front feet or them hind feet. I add a little something, a little pressure there. I get a different response. I step back. I've got about a 12-foot rope right there, 12, 13-foot rope, so it gives me plenty of room to step back and get out of the way there. Kind of get my rope managed right there. Super important. But again, I'm going to come in here, you see. So I want to teeter on that spot where he doesn't feel like he has to do that. So, as I'm coming through here with that flag, I'm looking for that spot where just about there where he feels like he might have to get a little defensive, and then I took that away. And it's not like I'm coming in here conveying to this horse, hey, you have to tolerate this. I'm looking for approval, and approval means his feet aren't moving, and approval means he's okay with this deal. And I've got to reach that point before my hand can ever go there. So again, I'm going to change sides here, and I come in just enough. And what I mean by that is just enough to where I can feel this horse start to get a little bracy. And then I take that away to relieve that brace. So I'll come in there, feel a little braciness develop. I start to move away from that. There he gets a little curious. First time he's gotten curious about the flag. I step back, and I really feel like curiosity, when it's used in a way that is beneficial, can really draw a horse out of their comfort zone. So I really want to capitalize on that when I'm out here. And so much of this right here is a feel. It's just the feel of, where's that brace at? Where's this horse at mentally? Does he feel like he has to be evasive? Does he feel like he has to come in there and be defensive? So I'm looking at them expressions all the time. His head drops there, and offering that up to him, and offering it up the relief in a way that this horse really understands that, hey, doesn't matter what situation I get in, there's relief. And that human is really an integral part in that relief. So I crossed the line right there. You see he kicked out, he kicks out right there. So now I'm just gonna kind of hang out and wait. Notice his feet are not moving. Tells me also too that, what's going on with this horse's peripheral right there. Notice the difference in sides. This was a side here that he initially was a little more reactive on. And at this stage of the game, he's a little less reactive on. And again, this is not set up for this horse to have to take this. This is to give him a choice and time to make choices, better choices to make. Safety is vital. Gets curious right there on that right side. We're going to call that good for today. Thank you very much.